I gotta wake up. Let's see if anyone gets in. And if not, I'll go back to this other stuff. Let's see here. Nothing even popped up on my page yet. It's been a whole minute. That's wild. And YouTube says there ain't no such thing as a shadow ban. Alright. Welcome in. Let's see here. Let's get this shit rolling. Let's see who's popping up. See what's going on. See if YouTube wants to work with me today. I'll paste that. We'll go here. Take this. All right. Let's see here. Oh, you just said there. I can do that with the other thing. All right, welcome in, welcome in. Let's get some conversation going. I'm gonna wait like 2 more minutes, and if no one pops in, we're just gonna leave. Grand afternoon. Grand afternoon. Welcome in, welcome in. Can you be in a soul tie with someone in spiritual warfare, and how do you let go from them? Well, in spiritual warfare, the only soul tie there is between you and yourself. And the only tie there is with that soul is how you're interpreting things internally to external. If you're feeling something from someone, that's because there's something inside of you that's causing it. There's some sort of memory, there's some sort of feeling that the individual allowed you to feel within a pure state of mind that you're needing to remove, and not remove in the sense of get rid of because it's dangerous, but remove in the sense of understand why it's there so it can remove itself for you, because you don't have to remove anything. Nothing really shows up in your energy to harm you. to do you any sort of bad will. So for you to think that off the bat shows that you have some sort of negative connotation, or for a better word, instead of using the word negative, you have this attachment to it that causes you to feel some sort of off way about the person on the physical that you need to get down to the root of. So it's not that this soul tie needs to be removed. It just, there's an event in life that you two had, current life, that you're needing to understand in a more open way rather than feeling like it needs to be pushed away. So working on it like that will really help you within that sense, without feeling, like someone's done something to you or that that person's bad or however, remembering that those feelings are coming from the internal part of you. And if you're feeling like they're doing something bad to you, then what are you doing bad to yourself? I don't have a religion. I don't do that. I'm not about that life. You don't need a religion when you know who mother and father is. You just need to live. No problem. No problem. That's why I'm here. People got questions that aren't answered by people, or they're given a weird path to go around that's not going to help them, or a fear-based thought pattern. I'm here to actually help people and like steer them into a direction that could potentially let them leave a cycle. But just remember that, like, at the end of the day, it is all you, and that person on the physical is just to show you a relationship deep within yourself. Allow yourself to nurture yourself within that feeling, because I have that happen all the time, where I'll be laying down, and I'll get into a certain mindset, and then all of a sudden I'll like start thinking about my ex, and it's like, okay, so why do I feel this way? Well, because I'm relaxed. Well, what am I doing? Well, I'm laying on this pillow, and this pillow is very comfortable, and it's reminding me of the comfortability I had back then. Showing and saying that I can feel that way without that individual being there. It's just showing you with the rational mind that needs to compare it to something on the physical that you felt this way with that individual. Doesn't mean you need that individual, but it's saying that, hey, look, you're feeling this way without that thing. No, I don't have a religion. You're asking the wrong person about religious questions. I don't do that. I ain't got no time for religion. But that's what's going on with soul ties and stuff. Because with the soul tie, it's saying that something's wrapped around your soul. And whatever that, what a tie is, it's something that's tied around it, right? So it's something that's just on your soul, something that's stuck there. And it's not stuck there because of something on the physical. It's something because you're internalizing something. There's a feeling that you're receiving from the divine that's showing you this new outlook, showing you this new way of being. But then the rational mind has the will and will always come in and show you where it came from on the physical. It's just up for you to be in a grounded state of place, in a grounded area, a grounded state of mind, even to interpret that. That's what's going on. Any other question about spiritual warfare or anything along those lines? Because that's why we're here. I wouldn't say that spiritual warfare is heightened. There's nothing new under the sun. The intensity of everything under the sun has always been at its max that it will always be at. It's the awareness of people. It's the awareness, just the conscious awareness, the conscious expansion that's going on. That's really changing. that's really evolving and growing. So it's not that spiritual warfare is becoming more intense. People are just waking up to what's actually happening in reality. They're becoming more aware of their feelings. The feminine energies needing to be recognized more and more, because we've been steering on this masculine consciousness drive for so long of working and putting out external effort and paying attention to our work value rather than our nurture value. We work for more and receive less, which is why we need that feminine energy. It's just noticing what we're doing more than we're fighting more than we're really nurturing. We're trying to fight externally whenever the fight's really internal. So it's not like it's been heightened. We're just becoming more aware of what we're lacking. And in that sense, because we feel like we need to work so hard, especially which is how it's being projected out in reality currently, where we are working too much and we're not receiving any sort of like nourishment or safety or anything of that nature when it comes from the overworking. But that's the grand thing of it. We're just needing to nurture ourselves more, allowing ourselves to be okay with what we have and know that we don't have like a work ethic that requires more. Nurturing comes from, it's natural. It doesn't really need like a state to be produced in. It's always there being given. We just haven't been focused on the invisible aspect, the aspect of feeling. And that's seen throughout everywhere. Like, you can look everywhere and see how masculine the world's become, how people are trying to become in that more I'm gonna say the word independent, but I'm gonna need to like break that down why I'm using that word as well. But in a more independent manner. Like, you have women that are saying that we don't need men, and then you have men who are purposely cutting people off and shallowing out and not expressing who they really are and what they need to do. And it's coming from that lack of nourishment. It's gone on for so long that the feminine energy itself feels neglected, like the feminine physical nature, I should say, feels neglected and is trying to show the masculine energy, hey, I can be independent too, but you know that we have to work together for things to be in alignment, for nature to be at its balance. We have to work together. And the masculine energy knows that as well, but it's been forced and trained through years of trauma and years of like generational events. Generations of events, I should just say it that way. That have prevented man from truly being open and feeling secure and safe in his emotions in that sense. And man and woman being both, regardless of gender, we're talking simply just the polarities within the body at that time. Well, at this time, I should say. And that's why everything's the way it is. That's why everything's focused more on work than resting. And when you're resting, you're put with stamped with labels and all these other things. It's however it is, because it's just a lack of balance of both. And eventually we'll hit a point to where it will be in balance again. It's just in due time. And that's just kind of what we're doing, going through and feeling at this point, is those two energies coming together again. Neither, not fighting, because the feminine energy by nature won't fight. It knows what it needs. It's the nurturer. It's not going to fight. If it's told to stay away, it will do so simply because of the nature of it. But it also will consistently give what it needs to give based off orders from divine, based off instructions from mother. But as long as you can really just be authentic with yourself, and authenticity has nothing to do with what you want to be, it has with what you are right now. Like, I'm tired today, you know what I mean? I took like a power nap before I came on. I wasn't about to just, bull through some stuff, so I'm a little groggy right now. So, like, is being authentic. I couldn't do it. I wanted to take a nap. I took a nap. I'm back in action. Simple as. It's taking care of yourself in those small ways that create grander effects out in reality. Welcome in. Exactly. We have to mother ourselves. We've been under the constraints of father for so long, which again is why I find Saturn's rings busting or disappearing, I should say, sometime in like May. I think it's happening. I can't really remember the exact date, but I find that really funny, just with how the events are of the world and how everyone's so been focused on time and the energies of father. And if you know anything about the story of Saturn and the Philosopher's Stone and what Saturn is and rules and the laws that govern it governs, I should say, you'd find it pretty comical too. Yeah, of course. That's what I gotta. That's what I'm here to do. I won't exhaust myself over it, but I'll definitely, whenever it's needed, it's needed. And I told myself I was gonna go live, so I was like, I'll just take like a 30-minute nap and then get ready for it. Ain't no biggie. Ain't no biggie. But I mean, these are questions that people have, and no one really answers them, unfortunately. But they dare to call themselves a guru or a healer or a teacher, yet they aren't really teaching anything. They just kind of like the label of it. So someone has to actually do it on this platform, and not just you know think that they are, or go around these like metaphoric ways of saying things, or jumping around the bush too many times. It's got to be tackled head on. Those that will get it. Those that won't will just won't. It's just how it is. But yeah, any questions about spiritual warfare, anything to do with that, or anything adjacent to it, I'm always down to. That's what this live is for. So ask away. That because that's the thing. When we're stuck in warfare, we're so used to hearing about like um things that are happening around us rather than things that's happening inside of us. And even though every guru and their mother will say it's a world that's based off your mind, and you have to worry about how you're feeling, and it's not about your mind creating feelings, because your mind always creates feelings. The fact that people say that you have to create that feeling is such a lie. It's such a weird thing to say, because the feeling doesn't need to be created. It's already there around you. It's constantly around you. You just have to be aware of it. You have to allow it to exist within your field, and the only way to do that is by controlling your rational mind. Not necessarily controlling it either, but showing it what it's trying to find without breaking up everything. It's a lot easier said than done, but once you start to do it, your rational mind will click onto it pretty quickly. Its job is to protect you in the way that you seem fit. And once you switch from like a victim to a victor mindset, or from an internal from an external viewpoint, you'll start to really see things in a different light, and your masculine, your rational mind will just click on. And it's like, oh shit, well, I should just be focusing on these things instead. And now, instead of like being in survival mode externally, you're in this survival slash nurturing mode internally, where you're doing things that are going to actually nurture you, things that are going to allow you to feel better, things that are going to show you what you're desiring to see on the physical without actually doing any physical sort of work. Yeah, that's the thing. Like overanalyzing is it's a natural part of the mind. That's what we do with their brain, is we break shit down. It's how we do things. That's the only way we're allowed to see anything. That's the only way we're allowed to like touch things and feel things, is our mind literally has to break all that stuff down. Um and it's just how it is. Like, but it comes to really seeing what you're breaking down and why you're breaking it down. That's going to make more of the difference. If you're trying to break something down to heal from it, then why are these feelings of fear happening? What is there that you need to be protected from if you're trying to heal? You know what I mean? Like all these questions that you kind of have to like counteract yourself with. Because again, like it's just that part of you, that masculine part of you, that's going to be striving to compare it to something on the physical that's given you that danger without getting any sort of like nutrients, any of that water from it. But as well, since we're talking about it, the second book, the second part um, of the ego series of the books I'm writing was finally completed last night, and it goes into depth about this stuff. Like this is why it's just been a huge thing with like the mind right now, and the rational self, because that's all I've been focusing on for like the past weeks, writing about it. But it goes into depth about like questions that you can ask yourself during meditations, ways you can see things differently. It goes into details about all that stuff. Um, and you can use the email up there or like the website link that I have now as well, which is a new thing. I'm glad I finally got that set up. But you can go to either one of those and just get the books through them. Yeah, don't never analyze your if you're gonna okay, let me say it this way. If you're gonna analyze your emotions, realize overstand that your emotions are external. Your emotions are emotes. They're how you're moving. It's how you're using the energy, the fuel, the funding, the feeling for to act out in the physical. So if you're breaking down like, oh, why am I crying right now, instead of letting that instead of letting your mind create a feeling of despair and sadness, let yourself know that you're detoxing yourself from something, and then to break down what do you need to detox, what have you gone through that needs that detox, what have you been holding on to that's bringing that detox. And it's going to bring you down to the core feeling that's been funding that sort of action externally, whether that action externally is freezing up and not doing anything, or being so um, reckless with working that you're overworking. You know what I mean? No, you would honor the feelings, not the emotion. The emotions are what causes your rational mind to end up targeting yourself and putting yourself in that victim mentality, or trying to put you in those sort of things. You honor the feeling, not the emotion. You don't need to honor anything that happens on the external at all. Nothing that comes out needs to be honored. It's what happens on the internal that needs to be actualized and honored for you to be able to feel those things and see through them rather than acting for through them. And that's another thing, because I talk about it a lot too. People always say emotion, but emotion, everyone breaks that down to energy and motion. Yeah, but what does the word emote mean? Emote means to act. Emotion, emote ion. The energy is the ion, it's moving outward. It's an external action that you're taking. What's the energy that's fueling that motion? Well, it's your feelings. It's whatever you're feeling, whether that feeling comes from a mental space or it comes from the divine giving you it. Well, either way, the divine gives it to you, but it's either dirtied by the mind and converted into something different, or it's received how it is. And that's what you're honoring by using it in that sort of sense. If you're going to honor the emotion, it's like saying, I'm honoring that I'm pushing this bottle away from me because I feel like it needs to be pushed away from me. You know what I mean? But I only feel it needs to be pushed away from me because my mind's telling me I had to push the water bottle away. Not many people break it down past that, and it's like it's okay, but a lot of the teachers and gurus, they don't really think about it much. They'll get one part of it. They'll only see the one side of the coin, which is good to know that it's energy in motion. That's awesome, but what energy are we working with? You can't really ask them that question. They won't know about it. They'll go on schematics and talk about things that don't matter. Right. Remember that it's not shame. It's the feeling of humility that the mind doesn't want you to feel. And it's that feeling of humility that's hard to grasp onto, because you can't really be uh I don't, you know what I mean? Like it's hard for people to laugh at themselves in this day and age. It's hard for them to really tap into that overstanding of who they are and what they're trying to do. So when it comes to humiliation, can feel like guilt. Why am I being humiliated? Why does it feel like I need to be humiliated? Why am I even saying that to, to yourself? You know what I mean? And really seeing that it's this restriction to be authentic, and that causes you that shame because it's yourself saying, I need to feel this way, or I just need to allow myself to be this way. And you're restricting that by a part of you. And that part of you is also listening to that internal pureness of you. So it's not only just, taking from external things, it's also taking and drawing from what's being told you internal. It's like it's a double-edged sword, it's a snake's tongue. It can help you, but at the same time, it's only going to help you if it finds a way to benefit not only you but itself, because it feels like it's running you rather than you're allowing it spacious in the vessel to communicate with two other entities, being like your inner self and the divine. The inner self, the observer, is listening to the divine and to the rational mind, um, and is acting in accordance to whoever has the most leverage on each side. You can't stop numbing from emotional pain. What about feeling the what have you done externally that's causing you pain? Then I'll ask you that question. What have you done externally? What actions have you taken that have caused you pain directly? And to take that a step further, what have you what have you experienced? Because a lot of times you can't just ask yourself up front, like, why, what actions have I took. You have to ask yourself, what have you gone through? And then that can take you back to what actions you took to get into those situations. And you may feel bad about them due to your rational mind itself breaking it down again in a way to try and protect you, to show you what you haven't done. Kind of like how relationships with some people and their fathers are, where they're like, don't do that, and they get yelled at or scolded at like that. It's that same parental mindset where you're scolded for doing something that you didn't know was completely wrong until the effect of it happened. And just remembering that you're just learning day to day, and it's not a wrong thing. And you shouldn't be suppressing or trying to numb feeling those things, as that's what it's trying to show you so you can remove them from you. Because all accuse, like, the feelings that you have, they don't want to stay within you. They want to express themselves. They want to be able to talk to you through the feeling state, through like colors or however. Like, they want you to feel what they're trying to bring to you, so that you will no longer have that need to hold on to it so tightly. So don't try and numb them, because numbing them is only going to make them stay there longer, and then they're going to have your rational mind's going to now attach so many other things. Where's the space for feelings? Well, feelings are located all in the heart space. That's the only pure place there is. That's why whenever people will always say, like, you're heartbroken, you're not heartbroken, your mind's broken, because your heart can't feel any form of pain. That's where the divine resides. And the only thing that can come into the heart is what comes from the divine. After that, the heart allows you to feel what the divine has given you. And once it hits your physical body, it can, then it hits your mind. Your mind represents, why am I feeling this way? What's going on? I don't see anything around me that's making me feel these ways. So now I have to attach myself to something, or attach that feeling to something to give it like a reason. And that usually, it can lead down either path. But it's that invisible force inside of you, that invisible part of you that you're not able to see, that's fueling and funding all these things. And it's coming from that heart space. The mind can't enter the heart. The mind can only listen from an outskirts. It can receive messages from the heart, but it's a game of telephone, where you have to allow that heart space to resonate and vibrate through you so you can actually hear it, rather than allowing the mind to relay that message to you. As the mind will relay it to you in a skewed way that seems right, or that will create feelings that will make you feel like it's the right thing. But you'll keep getting this irk of, like, there's something more to this message that I'm not getting. And that's where the heart's trying to come in and tell you what the mind isn't telling you. But I go over all of this um, in the second half of the ego book, which I'm glad I finally got finished. No, spiritual warfare isn't becoming more and more. The spiritual warfare has always just been there. We're just getting a grander awareness of what's going on. The attack, people think the attacks are getting stronger and stuff, but it's not that. It's just the walls, the veils around you are breaking more. You're able to see through things more. And because your rational mind has had this protective barrier there that's being shattered, it's causing this vulnerability feeling that can seem like it's a heavier thing, when in actuality it's just asking you to release more of that control, allowing you to see more of that truth rather than being in a denial state of it. And about the father, make sure as well um, that you allow yourself to see why um, it's affecting you in that way. If you never realized it until now, in that sense, right? Why is it why is it in that pain now? You know, there's a part of you that was suppressed for all that time, that was trying to tell you about that abuse part from your father, that had just now been revealed, right? And it's showing you that you're able to now reconnect to those past versions of yourself and hold yourself at no blame. um hold your excuse me, I had like a whole brain fart there for a second. Hold yourself at no blame, and also hold your father at no blame, as each side sees things from two different spectrums, with the truth being in the middle of the coin, right? So allow yourself to go back at times, you know, either like before you sleep or like when you're relaxing or something, to nurture that part of you that's asking for it, doing the opposite that you've been receiving, you know. And as well as, since a friend told you, going to them and asking them for like help and advice as well, since you do have someone on the physical that you can talk to and reach out to, it would be best to talk to them as well about it, in like, and not in a sort of, you know, people like to say trauma dumping, but in a way of just self-expression, because it's not trauma dumping, it's self-expression. Everyone has trauma, and you can't really dump that out on someone. Someone can feel overbearing because they're uncomfortable with how vulnerable you're being, but that doesn't mean you're trauma dumping. They just have their own set of boundaries set up to where they're not allowing themselves to be more open towards conversations like that. Maybe be due to similar experiences, or just not having the space for it within their own mind, due to them being busy with whatever they're going through. How are we? I'm doing well. I'm tired, but I'm here. I just got up from like a 30-minute power nap, but we're good. Feeling very accomplished, just doing tiny tweaks to the website that we finally have, and stuff of that nature. But we're doing good. We're doing well. Make sure you're not working too hard, you know, give yourself that rest at this time, especially if it is your time of the month. Make sure that you are allowing yourself to connect more with your feminine nature with your feminine energies at this time. That's really going to be beneficial. Especially with the planetary alignment that we're having too. Like just being aware that you're not overworking. Um I think it's like what Venus and Saturn are gonna be the first two planets to disappear, and the last planet to appear I think is Mercury, if I'm not mistaken, and it's gonna be on a new moon. So that's fun. So just, make sure that you do get some rest and that you're not overworking at this time. What's the best way to go about cleansing your home? Uh, get your favorite scents. Get like, bringing in nature to your house. If you like the smell of lavender, use lavender for what you need. Just allowing yourself to make a comfortable environment for your home. Um, Definitely wash your, if you have hardwood floor, use Florida water or pine sol, and that is a very very powerful protector. You can make like different type of like floor washes, like an abundance floor wash if you need things of that nature. But it all depends on like what you're cleaning your house for, in particular. Because there's a lot that you could do with that. But yeah, pine sol. it, I don't know how many people in here practice hoodoo, but if you practice hoodoo, you know about pine sol. It is not the fuck around. Because I mean, you can look at the ingredients of it and see what it's made out of and everything, and kind of put two and two together. If you know, but if you don't, just know that it's a very powerful cleansing way. Okay, so if you're needing to protect yourself from that type of energy while cleansing the home, it's best to cleanse your mind first, because no matter how much you do on the external, nothing's going to happen until you cleanse your internal. So don't externalize the attack. Don't externalize the need to cleanse your space to prevent that attack that coming towards you. Cleanse your mindset first, because if you even though you set the intent of cleansing the place due to the house, feeling like that's where the attacks are coming from and feeling like that's where you're being stated at and pointed towards, it's not gonna help you in the long run, because then you'll always have to constantly clean that place, that house, for that one particular reason, and it'll only become an obstacle for you at some point. Cleaning the mindset is going to help you the most for that. um what's the best recipe for Florida water? That I don't know off the top of my head. um I usually get the Florida water off Amazon, because I mean, most people use that one and it works just fine. Even like, I used to like put it in my shower, put it in my baths and stuff, and it worked perfectly fine. So I don't really, whenever I figure that out, message me and I can definitely. Oh, well, just message me anyway to remind me, and I'll send one to you whenever I find one. But yeah, if you're worried about the negative energy, make sure you cleanse your mind space first, and make sure that you see why it feels like you need to cleanse your house for the attacks, because when you find the source of it, then you can completely eradicate it rather than trying to bandage it by believing that it's one way and not seeing the truth of it, which would be seeing it in the deeper, like, what's the cause of this reasoning, you know. Yeah. But regardless of that, when you're working on that stuff, calming things, you can use peppermint. Peppermint's a good, like, eradicator for that. It's a good cleansing one. um you could really just put salt, you know, make salt water. You can use like Celtic salt or sea salt for that, and that would be helpful too for it. You know, just using elements like that can also help. I'm trying to think what else, because I mean, other than that, like pine sol would work. If you have carpets, um, I would say too, you could use salt on the carpet, but I don't know if you have any pets or not, and I don't know if you want them licking your carpet. But you can do that, and then just vacuum the salt up after a week. You can do that with normal salt or black salt, and that usually helps. Cause my me and my mom would sprinkle paprika on our carpet, and my dog would lick that up all the time. So I don't know if you want your if you have pets, I don't know if you want them licking the carpet, because they will. Um, but yeah, using pine sol, using water and salt like that, because you don't have carpet, that's the best way to go about it for sure. No, it is. Like, he was a little Shih Tzu, and he had like the longest tongue, and like you would hear it. It wasn't just like we'd like stumble upon him. You would hear it. I would be in my room and I would hear him licking the carpet like all the way down the hallway, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, why? It's not that serious. Like it, I like paprika too, but it's not that like serious with it. I don't Carpet don't even taste good. I would assume, at least. He was a crazy dog. Yeah, definitely. If your house is cluttered, that can also represent like a mind state, like how you are feeling mentally without you being aware of it, and it can also just cause like claustrophobia and stuff on like a smaller degree. So just making sure that you're like getting rid of old things and stuff. I just don't think carpet would taste good. You know what I mean? Like, call me a carpet hater, but I've I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. It's just how it be sometimes, you know? We gotta have something to laugh about, you know what I mean? We gotta have those breaks. I'm just tired as well, so I'm just, you know, I'm brain farting too much over here, but we're making it. I at least want to make it to like an hour 30 or like an hour 40 long stream, at least, anyway. And try and keep it like at that as like a minimum stream time. But yeah, any questions about, you know, spiritual warfare or anything adjacent to it, cleansing, things of that nature? Where are we at right now? Like, how much is that? 45 minutes. But I don't know if I want to count the first like 4 minutes to 5, because like no one was popped up since then, and it was just me kind of staring around and doing absolutely nothing. So I don't know. I don't really keep eye on the time. I just, whenever my eyes scroll up to it and I see it, and when I can actually see it, then I like pay attention to it. But I, you know, other than that, it's like blurry. I gotta like, I forgot what it is. I forgot what like herbs it is. But I gotta get those for my eyes here soon, so I can improve my eyesight. Not really improve my eyesight, but like remove the mucus in the, I think in the cornea. It's something to do with mucus in like the lymphatic system in the eyes and stuff. What do you think the planetary alignment means? Well, the planetary alignment's talked in the Bible. That's the alignment of the new heaven, that we're existing in, and the new heaven being the new higher realm, the higher awareness of humanity that we're going through. Um, that's what we're going through. I forgot where. Hold on, let me. Where is it even? Because I remember it talks about it, but yeah, it's told in Revelation somewhere. I can't find it. It might be Revelations 12, if I'm not wrong. Because I'm not getting an exact answer. I feel like. Yeah, higher awareness is really, really needed at this time. No, you're good. It's okay. Allow yourself to be in the struggle. Like don't end up fighting what you don't understand. You know what I mean? Just allow it to be, and then at time you'll come to the terms with it. It's not something to really be sorry about. We all have struggles. We all have times in life where we're not sure of something or what to do, and we just kind of have to sit there and let events transpire. So don't feel sorry about it, like in the sense of like don't beat yourself up over it, but just allow yourself to know that eventually there will come a time where things will start making sense. I mean, really, if you look at the state of um you know where the US is right now, it tells you, it basically prophesies what's about to happen, and everything within like religious texts, just reading the realm. Whenever there's something on the external, because I do this all the time, even when there's things in the external that are in a disagreement with my mind or with how I'm feeling or thinking about things, there's always something to read about it. So like reading the realm, what's going on, you know, what is about the US state that bothers you, and then kind of dig into that and look up comparisons within scripts and stuff, or just, you know, ask the divine to show you something deeper. All right, so there is a bit of a misconception with what you said. Not all angel numbers are positive. Not everything you receive is a green light. We're going to use the terms red light and green light instead of positive and negative for this, because positive and negative are constantly being used as comparisons to good and bad when it's not that at all. Which, you know, makes sense with the spiritual community being focused on energy, but they're not focused on what energy actually is. They're more focused on egoic um, attachments to it. Sometimes when you see angel numbers, and we'll have to break down numerology as well talking about this, but sometimes when you see angel numbers, they're warnings. They're telling you, hey, there's something that you need to do, like 555, for instance. Sometimes you might see 555 in a sense to tell you that there's something that needs to change within you, right? And taking it a step further with how numerology is and how numerology works, there's only 9 numbers. Zero being the infinite, not counting as a number, as it's the invisible. Anything can come from zero, anything up to 9, right? So when you see 555, that's 5, 10, 15. 15 breaks down to 6. That's telling you that there's something that you need to spiritualize more. There's a spiritual awakening that's happening. There's a spiritual, not necessarily awakening, but there's a spiritual enhancement that needs to be made on your behalf. You're needing to see something beyond your 5 senses and take it to the realm of the unseen. When you're seeing numbers like 4 and 8, 4 is always talk about plans. People like to say it's balance, but 4 is square 4. 4 is before your 5 senses are happening. It is the combination that happens before matter and time. It is the creation of something new. It is the beginning of a plan. It's the beginning of a foundation that's being born. 8 refers to a green light. 8s are referring to it's time to go. There's a test that's being presented to you, and you're needing to pay attention and pass that test. If you see 8 when you're asking should I do something, you see an 8 or something that adds up to an 8. That's a green light to move ahead for it. And then taking it a step deeper by asking signs like what else should I be worried about, seeing what else is connecting with that number of 8, whether that be a color or another sign or even another number, for instance, then seeing how that is on its own. But a lot of times when people talk about angel numbers and numerology, they don't overstand that there's only 9 numbers. There's nothing higher than 9. People like to say 10 and 11, but that's just 1 and 1 and 2, and that's 3. Those are less than 9. You would add up those numbers. Those are just compound numbers. 2 numbers put together, just they're compounded together. You can break them apart. They're 2 separate entities on their own. So it's important to look at it like that as well, to really get down what the messages are trying to tell you, as well as how does the number make you feel. It's not just about the message, but sometimes you see something and it irks you, or it startles you, and it's trying to show you something within that energy as well. Why did you become startled from it? Why did you feel like it was this way? Why did you feel like it was that way? You know what I mean? Not being so polarized to everything being a one-sided coin. You know what I mean? Because too much of anything is bad. Too much of anything is called a poison. It can shut you down. It can make you miss what you're trying to see. Don't get blinded by the light, and the light is just what you can see. So allow yourself to break down like what's going on with the numbers when I'm seeing them. What's going around in my mind? What am I thinking about? What am I feeling? What was I doing? What was I planning on doing? What did I stop doing to see this number? All of these things matter within that correlation of time because you're seeing it there and it's grabbing your attention at that moment during everything else happening around you. And you have to compare those two things together to find out what's really going on with you, who's in the center of it all. I wouldn't say the end days are approaching. I mean, the end days are always approaching if we're going to get real with it, but it's not like the world's going to just explode here soon. There's an event that's happening. Um, and I'm not too sure how to explain that event fully just yet. Um, but I'm gonna if I give it like a second to think on it, I definitely could. Because I've talked about it before, but I haven't. It wasn't like in depth. It was like a skim. So what about what's going on within your spiritual warfare? What are the key components? And I'm sorry to hear that as well, Lee, about your partner. That is a very unfortunate thing to have happen. Allow yourself to be, to feel what you need to feel at this time, though, Lee. Like, don't feel like you have to forgive him immediately. You know what I mean? Like, give yourself that authenticity. Give yourself that time of expression, to just feel how you have to feel. Even if it's like, even if you have to say I hate him right now, that's okay. That's just you being authentic at that point in time. You know what I mean? But allowing yourself just to go through those stages. Don't beat yourself over how you're feeling. Don't beat yourself up over what you're saying in the current time. There's always going to be a time in the future, a time that's coming up, that you haven't quite seen yet, that's going to give you more clarity, that's going to give you more of a time to, do what you need to do to make amends with yourself. Because, like, a lot of times that's what we like, especially with some people, people who act heavily on masculine energy, because it's not just men that do it. I can't just say that. It's literally like anyone that's operating off of a masculine energy, they'll get their rebound and bounce off and stuff. That's just them bottling up how they, what they're trying to express by jumping out to someone else and expecting them to make it feel better. That's the difference between that's the split between people, really, is those that will block out their own feelings for some sort of physical gratification, and those that will actually try and feel what they need to feel for a better outcome in the future, and that's like the rough part about it, because it's even if that isn't happening, or even if it is, however, it's just difficult for the ones who do decide to go and feel those things, because it's a natural state, but it's becoming unnatural due to external forces trying to push its own way, and its own viewpoints on people. And this, that's just trauma from generations back, from all the wars that people have gone through up until now, like Great Depression included. So, giving yourself that awareness of that, and just resting with what you can, is always the best solution. But yeah, Bunny, what are you going through within the spiritual warfare right now? We can tackle it head on and really boost you through that. And of course, Lee, that's what we're here for. You know, everyone's going through something. We're not gonna act like it doesn't matter. The fact that you mentioned it and spoke up about it, there needs to be some form of attention brought to it. And it's just how it is. Because we're here to be vulnerable. We're here to express ourselves in those sort of ways. If I can create a little comfort zone for that to be like happening, then I'm doing my job just as well as I need to be doing it. Sorry, I'm sending a message and my phone's right in front in front of the bar, so I couldn't see if I spelled the message right. Oh yeah, definitely. Without saying anything, there definitely is a grander lesson being learned from y'all's relationship. Just be sure as well, um, even though you have a grasp on that lesson, don't try and force yourself to nurture yourself with it instantly, because that can go to backfires really quick. I've learned that lesson the hard way, and I'll just save you some time. Okay, just keep that lesson in the back of your mind and allow yourself to, over time, implement it slowly. Um, okay, so we're gonna break this completely down for you, Bunny. Um, so when we're talking about destiny swapping is really just trying to get someone not to go down the path that they're going on from an external point of view. Like, let's say you're trying to drive to the store, but then there's like a 5 car pile up, right? You can't go anywhere around that car pile up because it's, where you need to go, unless you turn around somewhere and then, go around it. Destiny swapping is trying to keep you in that space of I can't go anywhere, there's no other options, and giving up on your own path. A lot of times when people have destiny swaps, they're not even taking someone's destiny, they're just destiny blocking it. And this is a huge thing because destiny swapping happens within competitive fields. If you, let's say, like, you are, I love using the baker example, I just can't stop using it, but you'll say you're a baker and you're in well, actually, no, you, I don't know if you've seen this, I'll compare it this way, because I know some people have seen Bob's Burgers. If you remember the episode of Bob's Burgers, if you've never seen it, just listen. But there's an episode of Bob's Burgers where there's a competitive burger shop that pops up across, like, next door. That's basically what a destiny swap would be: is someone trying to ruin your reputation in forms to get more gratitude of what they're doing, which is on the same, like, line as you, right? As long as you keep moving down that path, it's not going to happen. So don't be afraid of destiny swapping. Be afraid of blocking yourself from your own destiny by fear of what someone else is going to do. They can do whatever they desire to do, but as long as you keep doing your walking down your destined path, it's going to grow you and create stronger boundaries for you. You know what I mean? As well, with people who try to come in and be aggressively friendly towards you or try to be your friend in an aggressive way, there's a there's two things off the top of my mind that come that need to be talked about with this. And the first one is a lack of boundaries, either like internal boundaries from yourself as well, where you may have had yeah, that's okay. Thank you for saying that, because that was really the path I was going to go down, where someone's trying to impede on your boundaries to know who you are. That's not saying that they're trying to, like, swap or steal you. They're very impressed by you. A lot of destiny swappers are just fans that want to clout chase, for better for lack of better word, even though, like, that's not a good word to use at all. But they're trying to coat right off you. That's a better one. And they're trying to seem as if they're a better version of you because they're mixing who they are compared with who you are, which they see you as the better contender. So that's why they have to mix those two together. Doing that, cutting them off, not talking to them is the best, case scenario to do that. But as well as with people having knowledge in the occult, in the grand scheme of things, the occult doesn't make you any stronger. In fact, the occult can make you very stupid. Just, knowledge has to come with power, and those that are trying to destiny swap, or those who are trying to jack someone's style, are incredibly weak. They don't have the strong mindset, they don't have a good will for themselves, so they can't manifest anything in. They have to play this game where they fake it till they'll make it. But unfortunately, in reality, you won't make it if you're faking it, because you'll never really have what you desire. You'll always be selling yourself short. So these people that come in that sort of sense, they teach you to put up these barriers, these boundaries of seeing, I actually don't want you near me. Not because I don't like you, not because I hate you, but because we just don't resonate. Because there's something about how pushy that you're being on me and my character that's reminding me that there's a grander part of me. Even times when people are in the energy of destiny swapping, they'll get shown a new path of what they're supposed to be doing, and they'll jump down that path instead, and it's a grander path. You know what I mean? This definitely as well could just be a lot, because a lot of, like, times when you're feeling a dark spirit, because I was reading the dark spirit part of it, when you're dealing with feelings of dark spirits being around, it's definitely it's two ways. The first way is from the external, all that pressure from the external has then leached on you from the internal, making you feel like you need to do something back, making you feel like you need to do something on the physical back, wanting to speak up or say something, but then having the fear of, oh, if I speak up, then something bad's going to happen, or people are going to say this, that, and the other, right? It's about finding that thin line. So, and kind of going along with what Destiny just said, if you're unable to get a new job, report that coworker for just being very insensitive towards you. You know, bring up the fact that they're very nosy with you and you would like some space. You know, see if you can either get moved to like a new area, a new department, or see if you can get something happen with that in that sense. You know what I mean? A lot of times people play these games within the realm of magic, and because it's been so ostracized for years, we forget how powerful actually moving on the physical can be when it comes towards spiritual practices like this. Someone's doing spell work on you at a workplace, you can use the feelings that you're getting from that and be like, well, what actions can I take to move forward on the physical? You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so they're attacking me with this, they're trying to steal my friends, do all this stuff, or supposedly, you know, however it's feeling for you, right? You can go and begin to, you know, disassociate yourself from those people, from those places. And in reverse, since that's what you're getting from spirit to do, is like, oh, I'm just going to disassociate from those things. It ends up being almost a backfire on the other person's half because they need you to be involved for it to have some form of exchange, some sort of work. You're not feeling it fully in the spiritual in essence. And what will you do if it's your own sister? What do you mean by what would you do if it's your own sister, for this scenario that we're talking about or for a different one? But definitely, since you have you know cut her off, allow yourself to do things, and as well as if you see them going after your romantic interest, don't let that like bother you. Um, if you feel the need to, you can always like go towards the people that you have that since you already have, you know, since you already have those crushes on people. My brain is like going all over the place, I'm sorry. But since you already have those crushes on people, you can take that time for you to be your authentic version of yourself and go towards them. You know what I mean? A lot of people, when they're doing these things, their power relies in you not doing anything back. You know what I mean? Because it's less about siphoning energy and it's more about being more of you than you're being of yourself due to a fear of you seeming like you're the copycat. That's how a lot of these mental games works. And for it being your sister, it's the same thing. It's the same evident. Remove the connection that you have between you and your sister. You don't need to vocally say anything. You don't even need to announce it. You just start removing yourself. You know, stop, you know, hanging around them. Stop mentioning them. Stop talking about them. Eventually they'll fade out of your existence within your mind, and you'll have a brand new character of them. Of since I'm no longer interacting with them, they can't be that same individual. When you meet back with them, even if you do or not, however, their characteristics will already be changed because time is going to change everything within that. You already announced it. That's fine. Do what you have to do. You know what I mean? But just remove yourself from that situation completely. You know, allow them to still continue to be the way that they want to be. Are holidays even real? They're as real as you make it. Technically, there's, I mean, really, there's not really a holiday. I don't really, you know, me personally, I don't celebrate any of them. It's more of just like what you desire to do. You know, more power to you, I guess. But it's all definitely a matrix thing, where they're trying to get you to spend more of your resources, spend more of your time doing things that aren't valuable to you, and then being stressed out about you not having time or feeling like you have to be boxed within this nice person receptivity rather than being authentic. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people always complain, like, I don't like the holidays because I have to be around family. You know, you don't. You don't actually have to show up. But because it's become a tradition, and a lot of people hold very tightly to tradition, even though traditions are meant to be broken after, you know, a certain amount of time, as we're always changing, it it's okay to not show up. It's okay to not fall for that same tradition. But we hold so tightly to them for some reason, you know, and that's part of the rational set mind of, oh, if I don't go XYZ, well, that's again, that's part of the rational mind dictating and trying to predict things that have yet to even happen, that might not even happen. All of these things. But you know, they're as real as you make them to be. If you wanna, you know, if you want to, you can. I just personally, I don't. It's definitely good for the mental health to just follow your own path and not worry about so much externalized. I'm gonna say externalized reasonings. I'm gonna keep it like that until I find something better else. But of course, buddy, no problem. That's what we're here to do, is break things down. Because you go to anyone else, they'll just tell you what you want to hear, which is like with your ego side of things. They want to hear that everything around you's in trouble and that you need to do something to go to straight great lengths to help yourself, or they'll give you an idol to look at and be like, oh, just do this, you'll be fine. When in actuality, it's just these simple choices that you have to make. That's the spiritual part of life, is listening to your spirit, not doing things externally. If you feel like doing something, awesome. If you don't feel like doing something, awesome. Just do what you gotta do. And thank you so much for the donation. I greatly do appreciate it. It helps out the channel a lot more than you would think. YouTube's been on me for the past like month. They don't like me right now. I keep complaining to them. Well, whenever you feel ready, Destiny, you can email me, and I will respond if you wish for me to respond, and if not, I won't. Just make sure that if you want a response, then let me know. If you don't, then let me know. Because typically I won't respond unless I really feel called to. Just because people, spiritual spaces, boundaries, things of that nature. So it's just important to mention like what you're desiring and stuff. But whenever you are ready, and thank you, oh my goodness, and thank you for the donation as well. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. But as well, if anyone is interested in any of the services that I have, we finally have a website up, which is really good. But you could always just email me, and I'll send you the services that way. Just send like you the list of them. Because I don't have all the services up on the web page because it's a free thing, and I can only have 5 services. What website? On the pinned message on computer, it's going to be at the top of the chat, and on mobile it's going to be on the bottom where it says like my email. You can just click that and my website's right there, and if it doesn't let you click on it, I can just send it here. I'll just do that as well. But I'm not too sure how well it works. Hopefully it works well. I mean, like, I know the page is up and running, but I don't know how orders work per se. It should be fine. If you run into any issues, just like email me and let me know. Or you could also just use the contacts page on the thing, and you can email me from there as well. How is the name Luna important to you? Not really. Luna's not really an important name. It's just something that people use. This channel at its very like early stages, I think only like maybe 50 people remember this. Not even that, because I don't even think all those 50 were real. I think maybe a few of them were like bots or something. Because when I first started, this channel was called LunaHound Collective. And then I switched it to Sublunar Intuitions, and then now we're Zeta Healer. I've gone through phases on this channel. The OGs will know. Oh my goodness, thank you for the donation too. Goodness gracious, y'all. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it, I truly do. But yeah, this channel's gone through phases. I tend to keep it that way too. I am a firm believer. Well, not even just I'm not even gonna say that. I don't believe in stuff. I'm a firm, like, I don't like staying stagnant. is what I'm trying to say. And if I need to make a change and I need to rebrand, I don't care to. It's just what I do. I like, as a musician, I've changed my alias at least 25 times over the past 8 years of me making music. So I'm finally stuck on a name that I think I'm gonna keep. I don't feel like it's gonna change anymore. It might. I have no idea. But I'm always changing. And it's just how it is. And it is a super chat party. It is a super chat party. It's pretty cool. I'm tired, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't have the enthusiasm today. I'm so tired. It is not even like I need to sleep. I'm just like, today I'm just exhausted. I was up till like 2 in the morning working on the website because I was so happy I finally found something to work. That tends to happen. Like, whenever I get something working, I get so happy about it. I really did. Who wrote Gullible on the ceiling? You did. That's who wrote it on the ceiling. You did. Because you're the one looking up seeing it. That's the wrong thing. I hit the wrong button. That's the right button. There we go. People are online. At least you asked. Like, you have like some sort of like, I appreciate you asking, but I'm gonna tell you no. You can do whatever you want, but my answer is no. So I'll just let you know that right now. I don't know why I needed to take that off. I just did. Actually, nicest troll ever. Can I just troll you for a minute? I'm gonna say no, but you know, if you want to, you can. It's no worries. Yeah, you have a great day too, buddy. No worries. Thanks for asking. It's just how it be, you know what I mean? It is just another day. At least we're not. I'm not gonna say anything. Actually, I'm gonna keep that to myself because if I say it, it's going to immediately happen, and I think I might just end the stream and go to bed at that point. Do I do alignments? Yes. In a, depending on what you're meaning. If you're needing something aligned sonically using cymatics, I have meditation musics. If you need energetic alignments, I do Sekhem energy healing, which is basically just, it's Reiki, but it's the Egyptian version of Reiki. The planets aligning, what does it mean? It just means the age of the new heavens coming up. It's talked about in Revelations 12. I believe it's Revelations 12. But it is talked about in Revelations. If you love the Reiki, email me. It's a donation-based service, so it's like you don't have to pay anything, but donations are accepted for it. Just let me know what you're needing, and I'll get that done for you as soon as possible. The only reason why it doesn't charge is because the sources where I learned it from and was taught from require it, but it's in the sense of like, where is your own moral compass set, where you just don't ask for money, so I don't with it, just to keep, you know, that alive for it. But I'm also Sekhmet initiated, so Do I have PayPal? Yeah, I have PayPal. If you click on the, I don't know where, like if you're on, again, like if you're on mobile, it's on the bottom where my email is, or if it's on the top, if you're on on a computer. My Venmo, Cash App, Chime, and PayPal are all in that whole pinned message. So it's all there. Um, I wish there was a better way for pinned messages to be seen, but it's all there for sure. But if the PayPal, if you can't find it, let me know and I can literally just copy paste it and type it. How can I redirect my thoughts from victim to survivor? You don't want to be a survivor. You want to be a victor. You want to ask you. I know what you mean, but I'm gonna rephrase the question better for you. You want to reframe your thoughts from being a victim to a victor. These are just obstacles put in your life, and you don't want to try and survive an obstacle that means you like bumped into it and then it fell on top of you and got injured since the hospital. You want to overcome these things. You want to be a victor of whatever you're going for and going through. So instead of, in the first like major way you can do this is don't say to yourself, I'm gonna say stop, but that's very blunt, so practice not saying that things are happening to you. Practice saying things are happening for you. Practice looking at events in your life as lessons on what you could do better. Whether that's delving into deeper purposes. Like, oh, so let's say I stubbed my toe while walking. Well, I need to watch where I'm walking. That's what it's showing me. It's like, hey, I wasn't watching where I was going and I stubbed my toe, and that's my fault for stubbing my toe. You can go as far as what's another good example? Because I don't want to make it like too bizarre, and I don't want to make it another way either. Like I'm trying to find like good middle ground. I mean, because it's one that everyone goes through. Let's say you're lacking finances, right? Instead of thinking that you're down on luck and that things aren't happening good for you, instead of being down that path, really ask yourself, what is this lack of finance showing me? Well, finances relate to your self-worth, your self-image, how you're holding yourself up. It relates to yourself because it's all energy. Money vibrates at the frequency of self-love. So there's some sort of nurturing, some form of self-love that you're not giving yourself because you either don't feel worthy of it due to something that you've gone through or your own way of thinking, or it's something else along that type of line. So you have to really see, instead of being a victim to circumstance, see it as like I'm in a conversation with it. I'm trying to get to the root issue of it. I'm trying to get to the why is this happening instead of looking at the cause of it. You know what I mean? So breaking it down that way. Yes, my PayPal is Stumpy808. All lowercase, just like you wrote it. Thank you for checking. And if because I've had a few people who've donated to the wrong thing before. Do you think the planets aligning have anything to do with the chakra energy? It may have something to do with the chakra energy. Me personally, I don't know. Um, it could. It can. The planets aligning can definitely have some effects on people with chakras for sure. But do I think it's directly related to that? No. It can definitely have side effects of it though for sure. What about the moon? Yeah, that's because we have a fake moon. We have we have a real moon, and thank you for the donation. I just gonna go through. Thank you so much. We have the fake moon, which is what we see now. We have the actual moon as well, and our actual moon has been tossed out of orbit for a while. I forgot its actual name. But Nibiru takes its place sometimes. That's why you see two suns sometimes or two moons. That second moon is Nibiru. That is the home station of a lot of people. But the fake moon that we have is, I don't know what's happening to it exactly, but I know it's known as the reptilian moon. That's where a lot of the archons are stationed. That's where a lot of the things that are being forced and governed with their life are happening at, because the moon governs a lot of the waters being the mother, the feminine, the feelings aspect of things. So a lot of our emotional uprises have been caused due to the moon. All these feelings changes and all these feminine nature changes that's happening is because of that moon, and it's been thrown out of whack. Because I mean, it wasn't. It was like what, a few months ago. We had both of the moons appear. That second moon, that mini moon that we have, wasn't a mini moon. The moon is actually knocked off from Earth a long time ago. Could you let me know when you do it? Yeah, for sure. Email me what you're needing with the alignment, and I get it done like ASAP. It's if it's not done the exact day, if it's not done today, it will be done tomorrow. It most likely will be done today. It might be done like at later, like a few hours or something. But if it's not sent today, it will definitely be sent tomorrow. I have a quick turnaround for all my stuff. I try to keep it that way at least. Because if I'm not doing anything and I have the energy for it, of course I'll do it. Secum does take a little bit more out than the other things, but definitely I'll just sleep up. I'll just sleep a little bit more and have the energy for it. Ain't no biggie. Why is time speeding up? That is in the Bible as well. The elect few will feel those things whenever you feel time speeding up and like, oh, there's time's running out and I just don't know what to do. And I've been awake since, like, I was awake at like 6 in the morning and now it's already 2. It does not feel like it's been 2. I feel like I've been awake for like maybe 10 minutes minus that 30-minute nap I had, right? The elect few are going to notice these changes. The ones who are chosen, the ones who are going to be the ones to step up to the next level and create new changes and feel the changes first. And you can say kind of be the beta testers for New Earth. People want to say New Earth is like already here. It's a frequency that we're all on. We all have to be matching it, and then we're gonna have the actual physical real Earth as well, which hasn't occurred just yet. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're already at like we've already doubled the time since you last asked when the time was, by the way. We're already at 87 minutes, so we've doubled that time since then, and it hasn't felt like anything but 20 minutes. It hasn't felt like, you know what I mean? It hasn't even felt like 20 minutes. It felt like 10 minutes. It hasn't, like, it's been passing. But that's what happens. You're being more attuned to the energies around you. You're being more aware of the changes that's happening. So really take time to meditate and listen to any ringings in the ear. No, it literally, it's been a week since Christmas. But take time to really focus in on your surroundings and meditate and listen to your inner guides, because this is a time for you to be moving in different ways and in different stations almost. I'm going to say stations, for lack of a better term. But where you're positioned at now is changing. Well, first within the spirit, then within the physical. So really pay attention to like the inner self at this time, especially if you are feeling like time moving and stuff. Well, that's what's going on with with my times feeling so short. A lot of people, like, it is a lot of timeline collapsings as well. It could just be as well your higher timeline is coming in and collapsing in with your current one to allow events to transpire a bit quicker. You may be learning lessons a lot quicker, being faced with a lot more on your plate, but it's all to get you acclimated for this like big shift that's happening. Yeah. My email is the guardian 333angel@gmail.com, all lowercase. Eventually, when I'm able to make this site paid, I'll have all my services on it. Because literally, the funniest thing about it is the free version of this only lets me have 5. The first paid version lets me have 50 services up on the page. So all I have to do is like get all I have to do is like get that service and I'll be set for good. I don't even have 50 services. I'll figure something out with it though, pretty sure. Um, but that's the funny part about it. Yeah, here, let me, if you have a way to copy and paste this somewhere, Anna, I'll send you the entirety of the copy paste thing. And let me sure I like copied the whole thing. I did. Nice. Because I can just send this whole thing there, and if you have like a place to like copy this at or something, you can just copy it and post it sometimes as well. And I think that would be easy. A lot of people talked about what light. Uh, mm-hmm. Yeah, like light. Um, Goodness, we're gonna have this conversation again. I love having this conversation about light. But all light is electromagnetic radiation. It's not really a physical thing. It is a combustion. If anything, it's a combustion, right? Darkness is the natural state of things, the unknown, where all things are created and birthed from. And then there was light. Light had to be commanded. There was an action that had to happen for that light to occur. Light is secondary. Darkness is primary. And the way that a lot of teachers teach, they say that darkness is bad and light is good. Well, not really. That's not, that's not how it goes. The light can hurt you. The light can make you go blind. When you're in the dark, how come you can see more when you're in the dark? How come your eyesight enhances when you're in the dark for certain times? You know what I mean? All those things. So you kind of have to ask yourself the question of like, why are people saying things are good and bad when they're just neutral states? Well, that's just their own comparison to it due to a lack of understanding. And you know what I mean? Nice. You've emailed me. Let me make sure it went through. It might take a second for the email to go through, but I will let you know if I got it. But right now I'm not seeing it. But if it goes through, while I'm live, I'll let you know because it hasn't went through yet. If it doesn't, by the time the stream ends, try and resend it. And I'll respond to it whenever I get it. So don't feel afraid to send it like 5 or 6 times if I don't respond, because I will respond to it. Oh, it says it got the wrong email. Okay. Let me see here real quick. What are you using to numb? Like what is your steps up? Are you using a substance? Are you just trying to push it down and ignoring it? How are you numbing it? Like what are you trying to do to numb those things? And why do you think that you can't stop numbing it? What inside of you is preventing you from seeing it at the face value of what it is? If you feel comfortable talking about it on stream, of course. If not, it's okay. Try it again. All right, I got it that time. It went through. That time it went through. I'll send a little emoji. I'll react to it so you know that I got it. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't get why you can't copy them, but um, you can screenshot it if you have to, or write it down somewhere if you need to. It's also in the description of the live as well. If you click to the more button, you'll see all this stuff. Someone fed you against your will last night? I'm not too sure, but I would definitely stay away from them. That is a lot on your plate. I can definitely see how you're trying to how you're numbing those things down. Um, I will say though, from my experience of working with multiple issues at once, they always correlate to one root thing. Like everything's always going to numb down to one thing that's not being seen, and that's its other half, right? Um, Focus at things one at a time. Whatever is the one that you're able to focus on the most, the one that you're able to, the one that's popping up on your mind the most, I should say it that way, is the one that's calling on attention for you to have on it, right? Whether that attention is just journaling about it, feeling it, talking to yourself about it, letting yourself cry or act however you need with it, as long as it's not in a harmful state, you know what I mean? And really getting to know what it's trying to show you. Because when these feelings, when these memories of these events come up, it's not to hurt you, it's not to tear you down, it's to show you something that you aren't seeing or hasn't been able to see. And it's not saying that you're not looking into it at all or anything. It's trying to show you the opposite side of it, because the rational mind will only focus on the parts that you need protection from rather than the nourishment that comes along with it. There's always two sides of a coin, the visible and the invisible. Not a lot of people are able to see how the events that they went through are actually nourishing them and helping them to become a greater version of who they are now. They only see the pain and the physical actions that are happening at this time with it. Another thing, I don't know. Oh God, I'm gonna say this, but I don't mean to have any offense or to cause any sort of feelings to pop up that are harsh. A lot of times, what I notice with people in these situations where they have their children taken away, it is a form of the divine kind of giving you the space that you need to breathe. And a lot of times when I say these things, people give the response of, "Yeah, but if I just had these, everything would be okay." But you're not seeing the attachment. And it's hard to view at that point. I don't have children, so it's again something that I'm kind of like walking around carefully. But it is something that the divine does to show you where you're pulling so hard on, where you're pulling so hard on one side of things, where you're pulling on needing a circumstance to work within your favor, where you're not giving yourself the allowance to overstand how to get that situation in that sort of situation. You know what I mean? So really, yeah, I'm glad there was no offense taken. It's again just one of those things. Like it's very touchy to talk about, because some people are at that stage still where where they can't hear something like that, and others are able to. But it's, you know what I mean. So in this time, just really focus on how you're able to nurture yourself in that way, to allow yourself to receive that. You know what I mean? You might not be in the best mental state to even take care of the children if you did have custody of them. You know what I mean? So allowing yourself that time to go out and move with how you're trying to live. A lot of people have this survivor's guilt when it comes to losing their children, no matter if it's with custody battles or however, where they're unable to nurture themselves or go out and do the things that they really enjoy because they already feel like they're a bad person for losing custody of their children, right? Especially when it comes down with mothers, because the mother is the one that's literally attached with that child for several months. You know what I mean? Like you develop it, you give it that home. So it's completely understandable with that. But make sure you're giving yourself that nourishment that you need within yourself as well. Make sure that you're still going out and trying to do things that you enjoy. You're not a bad person for doing so. A lot of people might try and use it against you. I've met people who've talked about stuff of that nature, being like, "Oh, it's, you're a bad person because how could you?" But it's more of what you need to do for yourself so you can be at the stage to obtain those things, rather than driving yourself crazy trying to obtain it at the state that you're at now, right? So really take time to sit down, and whatever is popping up on your mind first, sit with it and conversate with it. Call on your angels if you need. Um, Call on your guides if you need. Call on whoever you put your faith and love into. Whatever God that may be, whatever deity that may be. Call on to them and ask them to show you what you're not seeing, to give you the insights that you're not receiving, and start writing or start going into deep meditations about it so you can truly see the steps that you need to take um, to overcome these things. And the memory of these things, the feelings of things won't go away, but they'll be changed from a less dense form. They won't be as dense. They won't be as much of a burden or holding you back as much. They'll still be there, but they'll be lighter. I've almost been killed 3 times. Once by family, once by high school friends, and then once by people that I moved in with after leaving the high school friend situation. So I understand how rough it is, coming to terms with almost losing your life. Me personally, though, I'm at the point where I don't hold any resistance or grudge against them. There's something that was going on their side of the mental spectrum that I was unaware of, that I can't even control or digest on my part. And I understand that they were doing whatever they felt was necessary, for their protection, despite there not needing to be any protection in that sense, right? You wouldn't be doing something unless you felt like you were doing something right. And at the end of the day, the body that you are in, um, are the body that you're in, with the mental side of it, is trying to protect you. Uh, but those are some good steps to move forward, with that sort of process. It's going to be different from everyone, but having that sort of ground to be on. All right. I'm actually I okay, wow. I'm surprised that I haven't ended yet. I was like over the time that I wanted to go for it. I'm not even tired anymore, so let's go. I worked through the sleepiness and I'm no longer tired. That's awesome. I guess I don't really know. I'm still like not ecstatic, but I'm here at least. How do you handle surprise energy draining? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by surprise energy draining? Walking to an area of okay, so that's not necessarily energy draining. Well, you know what I mean? Like, you can become tired by becoming overwhelmed. Not everything that creates a feeling of being tired is a drain. And that's something you kind of have to like understand as well. You can if you can feel tired for having too much on. Um, giving yourself time to acclimate to the energy around you is the number one thing. If you're not giving yourself time to just exist in the field without doing too much on the external, just allowing yourself to feel where you're at, it's not that it's draining you, it's just you're using the energy around you in the wrong way, and you're fighting against a current that doesn't need to be fought against. um this could even just be walking somewhere, going to, like, let's say you're going to the store and there's too many people at the store and you didn't expect that many people to be there, right? Your own expectation of undermining what could happen could definitely do that as well. But always remembering as well, like, all the energy that you are experiencing and are getting and being presented to is all a reflection of you. A lot of times we don't realize this. We'll end up judging ourselves through other people, almost as a way to validate it. Not always. A lot of times, well, here's the just the main truth of it. The truth is that the soul craves experience, and we don't always remember what we're going to experience on this realm. Most people won't agree with it, but when events like that happen, it's because there's a part of your soul that needed to experience it. Until someone makes it their life with an experience and they're able to befriend it and be at peace with it, where it's that lesson will continuously pop up, right? There hasn't been anyone yet within the reality of life who's made it through one of those events in the way that it's transpired that's left it pure, right? Either that being from your interpersonal or the collective way of seeing it. It needs to be done by a singular individual. So whenever you see issues like that with SA and all these things, it's because there's that soul that needed to experience that. That's for its maturing, that's for its character development, that's for its own story. And with karma doesn't mean that you do something and then it happens to you, or you put out good energy. That's not karma. Karma is you witnessing the reaction to your action. So if I like drop this bottle, the law and action of karma just means that this bottle is going to knock over. If I didn't have the cap on, my karma would have been I spilt the water on. Karma doesn't happen to anyone. Karma doesn't happen to you. It happens externally from you, right? So, and it's not many people know about this with karma. They just see it as like this simple basis because they've never even studied Buddhism or Taoism at all. They just look at it as a funny little quote, and that's about it. But karma happens externally. When you are a bystander of a fight and you don't watch someone and you don't go in there and stop the fight, your karma is now that you're watching someone get the shit beat out of them, or you're watching two people fight. If you do go in and fight, your karma is now that you got punched by someone, because that's the reaction to your action. The karma for the person who started the fight is that now they're seen as an aggressor. Maybe they're the one pummeling that person, to a pulp, and now they're seen as just an abuser, and they're the one that's going to get in trouble for it, right? It's all these other things. Karma is not as you see it because these people who teach karma don't understand what karma is. You can do good things in the universe and good things will come to you, sure. You can do good things in the universe and bad things will come to you, for sure. It's all these things. It's on this internal diagram how you're working. If you're doing something that you are trying to convince yourself of as good, but you know you shouldn't be doing it, then you're going to get that result that is not good. Oh, I didn't even know you put that message in there. Wow. But moving forward with that being a victim, yeah, give yourself time with that. You really have to question your own mentality at that point, and build a new wire for it. You have to build a whole new matrix for your mind to operate off on, with that, because we're programmed in different ways with our experiences, how we see them. So that's what you're trying to do at that. I just realized semen retention. How long does it take for regeneration and the lost permanent damage? I don't know anything about permanent damage happening from like relapsing on semen retention. The only damage there is your own mentality, feeling like you've failed something that doesn't necessarily mean much. Keeping your energy clean is all that really matters. It doesn't. There's not really a loss. Just you relapse. That's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up over it. A lot of people take it to heart, but it's really not like a grand thing. It doesn't really make you any more high vibrational than anyone else, because it's just a natural part of who we are as a being. You know what I mean? It could be for you just needing to feel like needing more strength training or however, but at the end of the day, like, it's just a natural part of, life. But I mean, if you're worried about permanent damage, everything that we do in life gives us permanent damage. So I wouldn't go down that wormhole too much of feeling like you've done fucked up something by just relapsing. Because everything that we do, even everything that we don't do, damages our body. I mean, it's just how it is. Our body's always deteriorating, so it's kind of impossible not to. I mean, if I mean, people say that, but does it really actually make you more energetic and more magnetic? Or is that just determined more on like your diet and your mentality and your state of how you feel, rather than an action that you're doing? You know what I mean? You're already at your max magnetism. You're already at your max health. At your max health. You know what it is, but there's blockages within the mental, within the psyche, that keeps that from moving on. A lot of people, like, sexual energy is a thing, but at the end of the day, like, how are you feeling? How are you moving? There's more power in just being authentic than following someone else's way of life because they say it's some way, or you know what I mean? 'Cause that's the thing. You do what makes you feel good. If semen retention makes you feel more powerful, that makes you feel more powerful. That makes you have more power. Awesome. If it doesn't, it doesn't. They want to, people want to like make it a dead road of, oh, you have to do this. No, you fucking don't. I know people who are sex fiends that are 10 times more powerful than those that like semen retention. It doesn't matter. It's all about your mentality state. Who are you this lifetime? Live through that and let, just be real with yourself. Don't get lost in the crowd. Don't, please, ever. Shit will not help you at all. But you gotta keep it real. You just gotta keep it real with yourself. But if no one has any other questions, or I'll accept a few more, of course. But if no one has any more, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna go do some other things. I'm probably gonna nap and then get some other stuff real finished. And I'll be back later tonight with another stream, because I'm gonna put another alarm on my phone to do so. But we'll be back. And we'll talk about, so we'll have another subject as well. Yeah, you take care too, bro. Thanks for stopping by. A take on the number 33, 6. It's my necklace, Archangel pendant, Archangel Michael sigil. But the take on number 33, that's just 6. That is the spiritual energy, focusing on things with a spiritual sense and not a physical one. That's my take on it, though, because I follow the rules of numerology, where you add up the numbers because there's only 9 of them. I don't really know, because it's like, yeah, you can use the angel number of seeing 3, times 2 more powerful, and that just being you connecting with yourself, because 3 is the what is it? Oh my god. 3 is the sum of 1 and 2. It's not that, I forgot the actual way of saying it, because 0 is the feminine, 1 is the masculine, 2 is the pair, and 3 is the balance of both of 2. 3 is the balance of 2. That's what I'm thinking. That's what it is. I mean, maybe for some people 33 is a healer, but 33 by numerology rules is 6. If we're gonna go by numerology, and angel numbers just rules off of numerology. If we're gonna go by messages from the divine and how they work, they understand that there are only 9 numbers in that whole grand scheme of things, as everything from the divine happens from the divine. You can take it however you want, but for me, it's more of just following the rules that the ancients, that our ancestors followed and went through. Because I'm trying at least to keep the gypsy tradition up and running when it comes for like divination and scrying and numerologies and things of that nature, because the gypsies knew what was going on. They didn't have any confusion with it. It wasn't until the European housewives began to take it and make them into parlor games, all the knowledge that they had, make them into games and party tricks and things, that then began to dilute what was actually going on with what the gypsies and the Kemetites were trying to give people their own way of life. But that's just my outlook on it. But yeah, I also work with Archangel Michael. Would you keep you here? Oh wait, I read that wrong. Your next question would keep me here. You can ask it. If it's a question, ask it. I don't care. It might be the final question, but you can ask it. You can also email me about it too. People, like, that's just how it is. People call the Kemetites and the Gypsies crazy, but they literally, like, they knew what was going on. Significance of being named after an angel? No idea. 0 idea for that, unfortunately. Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate that. I feel like I know that everything is gonna be going well. It's just gonna take its time, and I have a whole eternity in front of me, so I'm gonna be fine with it. But we're just rolling with it, seeing what's happening, doing what we can on the internet to get it out there. Other than that, it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. Regardless, though, I had fun making it, so that's all I care about, really. Yeah, it's been a oh god. Like, yeah, it's a dark night of the soul that a lot of people are going through, but I'm just tired. Like, I don't even think it's a dark night of the soul anymore. I just think it's another one of those days. That's just how I've been taking it. Is lying in communication from Adam to Eve necessary in the whole plan? Damn. I don't have an answer for that either. I haven't thought much about that. And as well, like, what do you mean by the lying in communication from Adam and Eve? Are you talking about that in like the biblical sense with scriptures, or are you talking about it in the scheme of the mitochondriacs and stuff from Africa, or are you talking about the story of Adam and Eve. Because there's a lot of avenues we can go down this with, which I can see why it's just gonna keep me here. But which avenue are you wanting to go down? If you're wanting to go down all of them, I'm probably gonna need like a while to like write something out and think about it. If not, um, but if it's just in general, I'm still gonna need time to think about it. Um, so definitely, if you want to as well, email me and we can talk about it there. Because sometimes I literally just have to think about the answer. I can't just say it out loud. I'm not gonna blurt something out and talk out my ass. I at least want like some form of solid foundation. You know what I mean? Like even in my shorts, I'll be looking at my computer screen sometimes because I'll have like a little blurb of like this is what I need to talk about. I just, that's my Gemini in me though, keeping myself in on track. Even on the book, like near the end of the book, I almost was going off topic. It's not even funny. Like I was supposed to be talking about the intuitive self and I kept talking about the rational. Do you think aliens are coming with the spiritual battle? There's something coming. There's something coming with what's going on. I'm not. They're definitely extraterrestrials. They're not from. They're extra terra astral. They're extra from Earth and the astrals for sure. They're more than Earth, but I'm not gonna go as far as to say that there are ancestors like some people are gonna do, because I'm not gonna be the idiot that says they're my ancestors and then be eaten alive by a creature that wasn't my ancestor whenever they come down, because that's definitely a possibility. Let's not act dumb here. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna be one of those people. Um, so, um, they are. They're coming, but I don't. Some people are gonna be picked up and taken somewhere else. Some people might be ate. Some people might just get gunned down by ultra gamma rays and never be like eviscerated. I don't know what's gonna happen. But something's happening. You know, I'm not gonna be one person to just go around and XYZ, but I will say that the text within the Bible and the Quran and the Torah really hint at what's happening. If you look at it within a deeper way. If they were here, I mean, you can say that, but you have to remember draconians are aliens as well. And are they really here to help us evolve? No, they're here to stop humanity. So, well, some of them are. You know what I mean? So you can say that, but there's a whole other side that you're just ignoring. And so that you don't fall into that pit of thinking that everything's like sunshine and rainbows, you have to just understand, like, this exists too. We have hybrids, we have centaurs and shit in other galaxies. We have other beings that are coming here for other reasons. Like we had a whole thing, what was it? Project Rainbow. I forgot what his name was. Um, was it Frederick Douglass? I can't remember his name, but they literally had a whole thing. That's why people were being abducted way back when, and we had so many abductions with people because they were literally letting aliens abduct people and do experiments on them for different types of equipment, different types of technology that we needed to deconstruct as well. And then we started stealing some of their stuff and not keeping up our bargain. And then they started keeping humans and keeping permanent disappearances. So it's like you can't really just say that they're here to help us. Some of them are just businessmen. Some of them are just there to do business, and business can get tricky. It not only depends on the species, it depends on the individualistic part of it too, because not all of the species are always going to act out in like a very in the way that their species is. Some species are gonna, it's like humans, it's the same thing. You have, oh, you're supposed to be a good person, or I'll say it this way, I don't want to get controversial, it's just really easy to say this. It's like, oh, you're a Christian, so you XYZ. Then you see some Christians going out molesting people and all this other shit, right? It's the same thing. You can't just say that it's all going to be one thing. It literally depends on the individual of that species that you're interacting with. It could just be a really bad day, and then you say something to piss them off, and they just gun you down or zip you out to another fucking galaxy or something. or just eviscerates you right then and there. Or maybe you like make say, or what are you wearing to one of the aliens? They just say, oh, you're not coming with us now because I don't like your attitude. You know what I mean? You don't know how these things are gonna act. They could literally just be acting like us. You know what I mean? Is siphoning a real thing? You can overgive, and that's a form of siphoning. Um, for sure. So siphoning's real. It's just the way it's talked about is such an external point of view that you can't realize that you could even siphon your own energy. Those times when you're overworking is coming from an internal thing that's siphoning you. That mindset of thinking that you need to overwork is what's draining you rather than actually doing that work, right? So it all depends. Like siphoning is real, but there's a deeper outlook to have on it than just thinking that it's someone else. You know what I mean? It's just like because I can definitely see how people can get confused by that. Um, it's super important to just to like know that everything that you experience is real, but you're experiencing it from an internal point of view. And the only thing that's happening on the external is a reflection of what's happening. Like studying quantum physics will really help people see what's going on. Like even in quantum physics, it's like you don't actually touch anything. You get very close to touching something, but you're not actually fully touching it. Um, and that's like another thing. Like if you get a microscope and go down to like a really high magnetism and you look at it, you'll see that their skin isn't actually touching. There's like a very thin invisible layer that's keeping it from actually fully touching, and it's like you're not touching anything then. So nothing that you're seeing is real, because if it was real, you'd be able to touch it, but you're not. You're taking your sensories and allowing that to dictate. You know what I mean? It's all these things. It's definitions that we have. It's labels. It's all these other things that our brain has digested and accepted as being true, or hearing and just accepting regardless. Over eons and eons in evolution, that's created what we exist in today. But that's also like a rabbit hole to go down, and I do not have time to go down that rabbit hole today. Well, right now at least, I'll have time for it today sometime for sure. But quantum mechanics, quantum physics, it goes into depth about what reality really is, truly. Always, yeah. Because I mean, again, like it's just important to view the other side. There's nothing bad or negative about seeing the other side. It's just keeping it in that balanced form so that you aren't thrown off kilter if something does. You know what I mean? I mean, who knows? Aliens might not even come down. They might even say, "Oh, y'all are too fucked to even help, so we're not even going to step in." There might be some change in galactical law that we're unaware of that keeps people from, going back home. We never know. It's prophesized, but the prophecy can always, prophecies can change, depending. It depends on who wrote the prophecy, of course, if they're even accurate. Yeah, the cells, all atoms are protected by a layer of electrons, and that layer of electrons acts as a repulsing barrier between it and any outside force. Home is where the heart is. You gotta go here. ET phone home. Watch ET. Kristen, go watch ET again. If you haven't watched it already, go watch it again. Watch it with an attentive eye. You'll get so many things. You'll get meditation tips. You'll see what they mean by going home. The names of the characters, they're all a thing. Like it's important to look at things with deeper insights, especially once you become aware of things on the spiritual journey. Just rewatching things that you used to see, it changes its whole perspective. There's actually a video here. Let me do this. Let me do you one better. Let me do you one better. Let me do you one better. The brother phase 1 actually has. Why did I didn't want to do that at all? Why did you make me click on that? Anyway, the brother phase 1 has a really good had a good Instagram live that he was talking about all this stuff on, literally talking about ET and stuff. So you can click that and that'll take you to it. It's split up into 2 parts because it was on Instagram live. And the second part should just be in the recommended. But the brother had a really, 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 really good live that I was watching and taking part of. So definitely take a look out of that. With wanting to go home and the whole ET thing, because he breaks it down better than I ever could. I'm talking about spiritual warfare and adjacent subjects, but I was about to get off because it been a minute and I gotta go do some things. Why is rest important? So you don't exhaust yourself. That's mainly like what you gotta nurture yourself. It's an act of self-love. It's how you're able to receive. You can't receive if you're constantly working. You gotta be in rest to receive. You know what I mean? Sit still and you shall receive. Be silent and know that ye are gods. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna go get some stuff finished and I will be back. If I No, it's Michael. This is Michael. I'm just gonna get rid of you then. Damn. You on one today. Goodbye. I don't want you anywhere near me. You can keep that. Bro was in here like 2 days ago, got upset at something I said and just waited till today to do it. You had a whole 48 hours. I'm ashamed, bro. Yeah, that's fair. But I'm gonna head off, especially after that. That's a good sign for me to get off. um, but thank you all so much. If you need anything, contacts or whatever, it's all in the pinned message or and also in the description. For services, the website, email, whatever, donations, regardless. Thank you all so much. Thank you for the ones that did donate as well during the stream. I greatly appreciate all of you. But I love each and every one of y'all to the moon and back, tenfold and forever. Goodness, and I will see y'all later.